Hello, traders. It's E from MarketWizards.com and eMiniWizard.com. And it's Saturday, the 9th of March, 2019, and it's just afternoon. I want to take a couple of minutes to go over a few things for our traders. And this was meant to be a reminder that we all need to use risk capital that we can afford to lose for playing this game. It's a risky business, as Friday afternoon showed a lot of us. There's a special shout out to Anthony Crudele, a friend of mine and who I've gotten to know over the years, and one of the greatest guys I've met on and off the golf course. Very humble, very personable, and he's told quite a story here in this podcast. And I truly think it's something that you all should listen to whether you're a trader or not, just to have someone own up to his own life and the challenges that he's faced and how he's overcoming them. It's a great inspirational story, and I recommend you take the time to listen to it. Very refreshing when we find an authentic person who is willing to bare his soul. And we all have our skeletons in the closet, and myself included. And all I can say is that I've got a terrific wife who has stood by me through difficult times where other wives would have taken off and said, "That's it, I didn't sign up for this." But she made it clear that our relationship was more important than our finances, and stupid moves I made in the real estate market cost us a lot of money. But you know what? If you've got the right woman, you'll survive it and you'll put it in perspective. And my wife of 50 years is a trooper, and I salute her. Missing her right now. She's visiting her mom back in Massachusetts. I stayed in Florida. And shout out to her, and a big thanks to Ruth Ellen as well. Yeah, here's a snapshot of last week, and I'm going to use the June contract, although we were focused on the March contract because we're trying to get our mind around this one now. And I said I was going to do this for my own convenience and for the continuity. You can easily see the same concept we applied to the last contract, which was we've got about 100-point trade. And interesting, the no pullback crowd never thinks you should take profits. And obviously, trend traders think you should never take profits. So somewhere in between is that balance that Anthony was talking about. You got to have a balance between the two ideas. That's life. It's a tug of war. It's a push and pull. Always. You're never going to resolve those conundrums. And you're going to place your bets if you're a trader. And if you're right, you'll do well. And if you're wrong, you're going to take your lumps, just the way it is. I like the three-box system. I want to know where we are relative to different size um, swings. And in this last weekly swing, this has become our support box. This has become our fighting box, and we're just breaking into the resistance box. So that's the way I'm interpreting this, and that's the way I interpret all of our charts. So let's take a look at a bit deeper. See the same thing right now. And if we wanted to see the zone from the previous month, then we can look and say, okay, I guess this box right here. If you want to take three boxes, you want to look and say, well, where's one above me? Where's one below me? And so evidently this is the box, the three boxes we're in relative to that month. So you can see we've had a pretty good pullback, 60% pullback, and that's nothing to sneeze at. And we undercut this low, which was probably a very important target back in here at these lows. And that's what we had targeted, just try to break those lows and try to come down and see if there's anything left below us. And we had about a 2-point remaining on a 100-point swing. So that's the way I'm analyzing this chart and where we're going to begin. And obviously, we're going to be using the top of this box and the bottom of this box and say we've got to resolve that range before we worry about anything else, including a retest of this breakdown up here. And here's a 3-box system. We can tell that we've come 2 boxes back in the yearly. So this is our current fighting box, and this is our support box, and this is our resistance box, just using the same technique over and over in the different time frames. Let's take a look over at one of the more interesting developments, which was the end of the day swing. And we used basically we were using the previous March contract. And we had thought that we were going to come down and adjust this by about 5 points. You know, the numbers that we were tossing out were about a 5-point differential. And the formation that we were noting was just how we were held captive by the middle. And we made the observation to traders, guess what? If the shorts cannot produce any new lows, then it's going to swing back into more neutral posture. And that's where we had thought you could hit probably one more bounce. And that was the bounce that we had suggested you try to hit, and then make sure you got paid as it came back in to that 31 area. Again, we're about 5 points differential there. And then we said, if we broke that and broke the 28s, then it could be lights out. But if you're conservative, end of the day, anything can happen. Just hang them up. You don't need to buy. You don't need to sell. If you took that short, cover. And we had already told the longs, you probably want to cover back here by your 60 back. So this is the egregious part that gets all the late shorts who said, I'm going to hang on to the close. And this is where the boys will beat you if you try one more time to short it, because they've got this whole range that they can explore, including close the gap. So the way I interpret this was smart traders said, okay, I'm out of here at lunchtime. That's it. But then the boys kind of goose the last part of the day's swing. And that's where you have to flip your mind around. If you didn't believe me when I said to our traders, okay, 28, 25 is support. And again, make that adjustment 5 points. I said, that's the squeeze pivot. And they're going to, if they can hold that, then it's still neutral. And obviously anything goes. So that's what hurts. In my mind, the traders had just couldn't let go of the idea of short. And this is where the boys can get you pretty good at the end of the day. And you give back basically all that you worked for that day. So sometimes the balance part that Anthony talked about is more important. You got something put in your pocket, you can keep it there. You don't have to jump back in and play it all on Friday afternoon, especially if you've had a great week. And for anybody who played this week and caught the bounces, hit the lower highs, this part really hurts if you're not disciplined enough to say, okay, fine, I'll give you back my little finger, but I'm not going to give you back my whole body. So that's part of trading, and you need the maturity, in my opinion, to say enough's enough. Okay, don't have to play long, don't have to play short. Had a good day, goodbye. Time to go out and see if I can get into Anthony's pocket on the golf course. Unfortunately, those days are gone for me. I don't play quite as well as I used to, but it's always fun getting out there and enjoying the game. This type of a chart tells us how oversold we were, and I made the observation to our room that you cannot just use a chart like this and assume we're going to crash. It's not going to happen once in a blue moon. And you protect yourself in a crash, obviously, but you can't count on it. And then we get the jam where common sense comes in, where anybody that had a great week is taking their profits, and they're not going to come out until the afternoon unless they're forced out. And they were not forced out until the afternoon. You look at the time where it started, and after 2 o'clock, that's where the real push came from. So in my opinion, these are the type of trades that will get us, if we have not seen them before, and understand that it's the profit taking for the weeklies. Count back to 5 days. These traders had a great trade, and then, okay, profits start to erode. All right, I'm out. And that's the way it happens. That's where we can get these jams from these umbrella trades that are really overdone, and then we get the snap. Very, very important concept I'm trying to teach our traders. And here it is on our 5-minute chart. And you can see just how this has trended down, trended down, trended down. It's just the toboggan run, and then we get the snapback. Right back, and look how we have not been able to come back to the rain line, which is about a 3-day average. And we have not been able to come back, and here we are. So this could have sat here, and I think a lot of us, myself included, figured not worth the effort to try to buy end of day, because probably it was just going to be a range type trade. And then once they they really goose it and take out the first high on the bounce, take out over the IB high, then it's just okay. We got you, and we're going to squeeze you. And those are the trades that you just need the discipline to say, no, that's it. You know, emotionally, it's the end of the day, the end of the week, and I'm tired and been here, done that, and I'm not even going to play. You know, that's the best posture, we believe, at the end of the day on a Friday. And here's a Globex chart, and you can just see how really well this chart worked last few days. And we use the 15 as our technical barometer for a Globex session, and you can just see how this was stayed under this the whole time. And then we finally break, and you can see the pivot in here where it holds, and then we goose it into the close. So this is going to be an important battlefield, obviously. The last swing zone from this low at the 35.5, and then we're also going to have to watch back up here, probably that 62 to 65 area as a key for now. Let me see where they open it up. But that's the next obvious area of concern that the longs are going to want to try to take out, and the shorts are going to want to defend. But we shall see. We'll take a look at this Sunday night after it opens. For those of you who love the markets and don't have the balance Anthony talked about, we're going to peek at it. But a lot of times we won't trade it overnight. We're just going to get our head in the game and see what's going on. All right, and here's our predictive model, and we'll take a look at a couple of days worth. And you can see this was the bottom. This was the projected bottom of the range for the past several days, and this was the top. And I've said before, for those that have listened to some of the videos I've done, it seems that the bottom two rungs of this ladder are where the best opportunities come from. They don't have to hold, and we do need to make an adjustment if they break. But typically, these will be the best areas to be buying, bottom two rungs on this ladder. And for stocks, it seems to be at this level. Right in here would be the best level to be buying, and then this a lot of times won't get hit. But I find the E-mini reacts better up into the deeper areas, and that's where we can get some pretty good size overreactions and then the snapbacks. So for those using our predictive model, then we're going to be looking obviously to start the week looking at these three boxes, and then we'll adjust. If it goes up further, we're going to move this one up, and if it goes back this way, we're going to move them all down one notch at a time and say that's our current range to be resolved. And it's helpful because it tells us where typically we're going to flip and where the longs really establish some control to come back in and do their retests. I usually don't have the TV on during the day. I just like to be one with the market. That's my balance. And then things that I'm sharing with the team, basically they're listening to my self-talk as I'm reading the tape. But Carter Worth, I think he's really very sharp And I did listen to that earlier today. I saw it on Twitter. Somebody posted, and I said, let me see what he's thinking. And I love the way he analyzes the market. Very similar to the things that I do and the technical issues that I look at. So for those of you looking for a pro, I think you should take a look at his posts and maybe follow him for a little bit and see if he can help you with your ideas. And a reminder, I do a blog and try to do that every couple of days, sometimes once a week, sometimes every day, sometimes every few days. But I do try to put something out there for traders. It's one way that I can help myself, and at the same time, if anyone else wants to benefit from some of the things I'm looking at, certainly I can. I'm more than happy to share ideas, and basically it's overkill in terms of the details, but I'm trying to capture my thoughts. And as I do these, it helps me review my ideas for the day, including the charts, which eventually will disappear according to Google. But for now, they're helpful. And then I try to capture some of those in videos where I'm trying to show our traders thing. So for me, the most important part of the sharing part of this is trying to give back and trying to help traders without any charge whatsoever. Because at some point, you understand that life's a ladder, and you've got one hand reaching up and asking for people who know more than we do and have ideas that would help us and learn from them. But we also want to reach back and try to pull up the next guy. This is not just about self-serving. It's about understanding that whatever we learn in our life experiences, we can use those to help other people improve the quality of their lives. So don't get caught up too much in the snark that's out there on Twitter. The less we react and respond to those things that really get under our skin, probably the better. And that's a challenge. That's one of my challenges. I just want to go out there and say, how could he say that? I just want to, I want to go get this guy. And I said, no, what's that going to prove? I'm not going to change his mind. I'm just going to, look like a fool arguing with him. And that's part of emotional maturity that, probably 25 years ago, I certainly couldn't do. That wasn't my nature. But over time, you start to understand that really the battle is not against anybody else, but against ourselves, and trying to get ourselves to be a better person today than we were yesterday. And anybody we can reach out and help along the way, we try to do that too. So for those of you who took the time to listen, thank you very much, and look forward to rubbing elbows with you sometime. Be well.